Alrighty, so a little bit of slope notes. Let's get... So there are two ways to find slope. One, you have a graph. You can count out your slope. On your graph, though, you need to figure out where are two intersecting points. An intersecting point is where it meets exactly where all four squares meet, so it meets in a corner. So, like right here, it meets right here. Meets in the corner of all those spots. Another one is right here. Meets in the corner of all of those. And then because this is a negative slope, it is going downhill. You would count out how many units down and how many units over. This is called your rise and your run, and that is your slope. However, when you have a negative slope, it might also be your fall. Like how many units do you fall down? So your rise and run. So for this one, we go down 1, 2, 3 units. And we go over 1, 2, 3, 4 units. So my slope of this graph would be 3 over 4. If I look at this one, these two down here, we have another negative slope. So it's going to be negative. And here's an intersecting point, and here's an intersecting point. This one we go down 2, and we go over 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 2 over 4, which can be simplified. You should always write your slope in the simplest form, because if you look at this, we can also do right here, which is down 1 over 2. So negative 1 over 2. These are the same slope. You could make them bigger, you can make them smaller, but you should always do it in simplest form. Next, this one is a positive slope. You see left to right, it is going uphill, it is positive. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to find points that go perfectly in between. So right here and right here. So this one has a rise of 1, 2, 3, and a run of 1, 2, 3, 4. So this one is positive 3 over 4, unlike the top one that was negative. It was negative because it went downhill. If you put a person on the farthest left part of your graph, they are going uphill. This person will end up going downhill. So he is going into the positive, going into the negative. You will also have numbers. Let's see if I can find one. Here we go. So stuff like this, where you're just given 2 points. You're going to use slope point formula or slope formula. And that is where you have 2 ordered pairs. You have an X and a Y, and you have an X and a Y. You will have one set that will be your ones. So like these are going to be my ones. So I'm going to label X1, Y1. And these will be my 2s. So this is X2, Y2. It doesn't matter what way you order them, but if you label this Y2, this has to be X2. This whole set is your 2s. This whole set is your 1s. And then the formula for slope, or M, M is slope. They are the same thing. Is Y2 minus Y1. So your change in Y, which is your rise or your fall, over X2 minus X1, your change in X. I'm going to keep with this blue color. These are my 2s. These are my 1s. So Y2 is 1 minus Y1, which is 3. Y2 is negative 2 minus X1. y2, y2, y1, y1. And it is minus because it's changing something. What's the difference between these 2 points? Well, 3 minus 1. Sorry. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. Negative 2 minus 1. So this is where I have 2 negatives. I have another negative. I have a total of negative 3. Okay. So I have negative 2 over negative 3. This is where we have to do another step because we have double negatives. A negative minus an, or blah, blah, blah. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. So that makes this 2 over 3. Next, let's do another one. So we're using the same formula. These are my 1s. These are my 2s. y2 is negative 1 minus 5. x2 is negative 4 minus 1. I'm going to have a double negative again. Negative 1 minus 5 is negative 6. Negative 4 minus 4 is negative 8. Negative divided by a negative is a positive, giving us 6 over 8. But that can also be simplified. So we simplified our double negatives, and now we can simplify this. They're both even, so I can divide both by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 8 divided by 2 is 4. If this doesn't make sense, then you're going to want graph paper, and you're going to want to graph it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. There's this point. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's your next point, or the first one. Not drawn very nicely, but plotting those points, you can see it's positive, so that was good that we had a double negative to make a positive. And then you would count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. My lines are a little bit off, but 6, 8, which means there's another one at 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Goes up 3 over 4. If you have questions, please ask. Good luck on your test. There are questions that just say, is it a positive or negative slope? Remember, if it goes uphill, it's positive. Downhill, it's negative.